Alright, Dokkanners, welcome back to another episode of Dokkan for Dummies. Today we will go over the Christmas banner. This banner will feature the new unit, Tech Super Saiyan 3 GOTENKS. GOTENKS leads Majin Buu Saga. He gives Ki plus 3, HP attack and defense plus 200%. Let's take a look at GOTENKS passive. GOTENKS passive, time bound dead heat, gives the following. For stats, GOTENKS gets Ki plus 7, attack and defense plus 200%. He also gets defense plus 77% when receiving an attack for the turn. After getting hit, GOTENKS will receive attack plus 77%. The uniqueness of GOTENKS passive lies in his ability to get stronger when you meet his restrictions. If there is a final trump card ally on the team, GOTENKS gets damage reduction plus 33% and defense plus 77%. GOTENKS also gets attack and defense plus 100% if Ki is 12 or more. He gets an additional attack plus 77% and launches an additional super if Ki is 18 or more. He gets another attack plus 77% and guarantees crits if his Ki is 24 or upon the use of his active skill. Now, to help GOTENKS acquire all the Ki that he needs, he has some parts of his passive built exclusively for that. He changes a random Ki's type to Rainbow, and he also gets an additional Ki per Ki spear obtained. Now, defensively speaking, GOTENKS is a bit of a wild card. He gets damage reduction for 5 turns at 22%, and he gets a 50% chance of defense plus 777% for the turn when receiving a super. Some people dodge, some people guard. GOTENKS just eats that shit if you're lucky. GOTENKS also gets an additional damage reduction of 44% for the turn and counters when he receives a Ki Blast super. Now keep in mind, he will get hit by the Ki Blast super and then counter. Now let's take a look at GOTENKS super attack effects. GOTENKS super attack effects are pretty solid. For his 12 Ki, Super Kamehameha, he gets attack and defense plus 50% for one turn and causes colossal damage to the enemy. For his 18 Ki, Die Missile Barrage, he gets attack and defense plus 50% for the turn and causes mega colossal damage to the enemy. He also lowers the enemy defense by 50%. Now for GOTENKS active skill, Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack, this can be activated when GOTENKS receives 3 or more hits in battle or on turn 4 from start of battle with a final trump card ally on rotation. This active skill will temporarily raise GOTENKS attack by 100% and cause ultimate damage to the enemy. It will also give GOTENKS defense plus 77% for the turn. Now let's show off GOTENKS animations.
Kamikaze attack! Alright! Charge!
Let's take a look at GOTENKS link set. GOTENKS has Super Saiyan, which gives attack plus 15%, Use Fighter, which gives Ki plus 2 and attack and defense plus 5%, Over in a Flash, which gives Ki plus 3 and attack plus 7%, Kamehameha, which gives attack plus 10% when performing supers, The Innocence, which gives attack plus 15%, Fierce Battle, which gives attack plus 20%, and Legendary Power, which gives attack plus 15% when performing supers. Keep in mind, all links shown are link level 10. As you can see, GOTENKS has a heavily based attack link set. The more links you have active, the bigger the damage number. Now, what's the best case scenario for the big bad fusion man, or child, I should say? Well, are you a gambling man? Because GOTENKS has high damage as long as you meet all his conditions. The fall off is he really only tanks supers if he gets that 50% chance to proc that massive defensive number. You should be looking at GOTENKS mainly as a damage dealer, so you should hit hard and try to hit again. He has crit built into his kit as long as he gets 24 ki. Given all the rainbow orb changing and additional ki he gets, it should be really easy to get ki to 24, so you should really build your hidden potential one of two ways. If you want to be safe, I would go with dodge as the maximum, additional as the balance. You don't need crit because like I said, you'll get crit from his passive. If you like big numbers and big damage dealing, you can go risky. You can focus on the additionals and give some to dodge. It really depends on your playstyle and how you will choose to play GOTENKS. Now the Grim Reaper of Justice is on a plethora of categories, so he should fit on multiple teams, which is part of the reason he's so good. He is on the following categories: Majin Buu Saga, Fusion, Hybrid Saiyans, Super Saiyan 3, Youth, Kamehameha, Final Trump Card, Special Pose, Rapid Growth, Saviors, Connected Hope, Gifted Warriors, Heavenly Events, Time Limit, Mastered Evolution, Entrusted Will, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Fused Fighters, and Earthbred Fighters. That is a total of 19 categories. That is an insane amount of categories. Now, while GOTENKS is a welcome addition to any team that you put him on, he is the shiny new character for both Global and JP. Global players like me have to suffer through one more missing character. Luckily, he arrives at the same time GOTENKS arrives. The final missing global unit is none other than AGL JIREN. JIREN leads Universal Survival Saga, Ki+3, HP attack and defense plus 200%, or Universe 11 for Ki+4, HP attack and defense plus 200%. But we don't really talk about that because Universe 11 is not really a team. Now, since JIREN's a bit of an older unit, having released for the Tanaba celebration back in July for JP, his passive is a little smaller. JIREN's passive, now the burden of weakness falls upon you, is the following. For stats, JIREN gets Ki+8, attack and defense plus 200%, and attack and defense plus 50% when attacking. He also gets attack plus 100% if he is the second or third attacker in the turn. Defensively, JIREN has 50% damage reduction and an additional 11% damage reduction as a second or third attacker. JIREN also has the ability to disable attack enemies' actions once within the turn. He can only do this once. And JIREN also has crit built into his kit. He has a base 70% chance to crit. Now, while JIREN's passive is smaller than the more recent Dokkan units, JIREN has a standby. His standby skill can be activated on the third turn from character entry. What that means is it can always be activated on JIREN's second turn from appearance. Activating the standby causes JIREN to just strike a pose. While JIREN's being moody, he will stand by for 5 turns. For these 5 turns, a charge counter will appear. The charge counter can be increased by obtaining Ki Spears. Ki Spears account for 1 point in the charge counter. While in his standby mode, JIREN's passive changes. JIREN's new passive, The Time Has Come, gives the following. For stats, he gets defense plus 350% and an additional defense plus 100% when receiving an attack. Defensively speaking, JIREN gets a base of 50% damage reduction and an additional 11% damage reduction based on the number of Ki Spears you obtain. JIREN also provides support in his standby. He gives all allies Ki+3 and he changes a random key type other than AGL to AGL. JIREN also gives all allies attack plus 70% for the turn if JIREN is in slot 2 or 3. This excludes JIREN himself. The reason why all of JIREN's passive skills are catered towards defense and support is because when in standby, JIREN cannot attack. Now the condition for the standby is to get the charge counter to 25. Should you fail, you'll end up going back to base form. Should you succeed, you will enter full power JIREN. Once in full power mode, JIREN's passive changes for a second time. JIREN's new passive, I Will Not Lose, gives the following. For stats, JIREN gets Ki+11, attack and defense plus 400%, and an additional attack and defense plus 111% when attacking. He also gets an attack plus 50% when receiving a super attack. This stacks, so if he's constantly receiving supers, he will keep growing his attack stat. Defensively speaking, JIREN has a base 60% damage reduction and an additional 11% damage reduction for the first turn from when he enters full power. Full power JIREN also comes with crit built into his kit. He has a base 70% chance to crit, and he also gets an additional 11% chance with each super done for the turn, and he's guaranteed to crit if ki is 24. For the rest of Jiren's passive, he gets a scouter for his initial turn, and his attacks are guaranteed to hit if his ki is 24. Let's take a look at Jiren's super attack effects, both in his base form and in his final form. His super attack effects give the following. In base form, his 12 ki completed power gives attack and defense plus 30% for the turn and causes colossal damage to the enemy. His base form 18 ki overheat magnetron gives attack and defense plus 50% for the turn and causes mega colossal damage to the enemy, and it has a 50% chance to stun. Once Jiren goes full power, his new 12 ki Crimson Barrage gives attack plus 50% and defense plus 30% for the turn and causes colossal damage to the enemy, and his 18 ki Omega Heat Magnetron gives attack plus 100% and defense plus 30% for one turn and causes mega colossal damage to the enemy. It also is guaranteed to stun. Now let's take a look at Jiren's plethora of animations.
Take it from here. The fighters who hoped to challenge me have already failed. Might makes right and might alone. Without strength, we have nothing!
Now, while Jiren has a multitude of good-looking animations, his link set is less to be desired. Jiren's link set includes the following: Supreme Warrior, which is ki plus 2 and attack plus 10%, Shocking Speed, which gives ki plus 2 and defense plus 5%, Infighter, which gives attack plus 15% and all enemies defense minus 15%, Godly Power, which gives attack plus 15% and crit chance plus 5%, Tournament of Power, which gives ki plus 3 and attack and defense plus 7%, Fierce Battle, which gives attack plus 20%, and Legendary Power, which gives attack plus 15% when performing supers. Note that Shocking Speed becomes Cold Judgment, which gives defense plus 25% while Jiren is in his standby. That's the only link to change in between Jiren's multiple forms. Also keep in mind that all links shown are at link level 10. Now, what do I think is the best case scenario for the big bad of Universe 11? We gotta strike a pose. What I mean by this, you have to get into the standby as soon as possible. Jiren, when he's in the standby, as long as he gets 5 key spears, is 100% damage reduction. He is the ultimate slot 1 tank. You'll probably get the most from Jiren in his standby, tanking those big supers in slot 1. Jiren is also what I would describe as a 1 pump champ, questionably so, because Jiren hits hard, has huge numbers, and he has crit built into his kit, but he has no additional built in, and he has nothing else going for him. If you really want to maximize the damage that Jiren does, you would want to go additional, because he has huge attack numbers, and he's guaranteed to crit as long as you get ki to 24. But keep in mind that Jiren only has damage reduction built into his kit. He has no other defensive mechanism built in. Any of the major boss supers will kill him outside of his standby. Maybe you would want to throw a little bit additional dodge type hybrid, kind of like GOTENKS that we described earlier. It's really up to you. Some people really like big damage numbers, some like to play safe. Me personally, I'm a safe guy. It's really up to you. Now, despite being the final boss in the Dragon Ball Super anime so far, Jiren has quite a few categories to him. His categories include the following: Universe 11, Universal Survival Saga, Realm of Gods, Full Power, Transformation Boost, Space Traveling Warriors, Powerful Comeback, Defenders of Justice, Tournament Participants, Battle of Fate, and Super Bosses. And as always, the question on everybody's mind: should you summon? No. GOTENKS looks great, Jiren's pretty solid, but Anniversary is less than 2 months away. And let's be honest, Jiren is essentially 6 months old. He's not as strong as when he first appeared. And while GOTENKS will probably get you through 10th anniversary, he's probably not going to be on par with 10th anniversary level characters. If you really want to summon, let's hope that they're on the same banner, because if they're on 2 separate banners, I'd rather use Savior Stones. There's no value. Keep in mind, these banners, whether it's 2 or 1, will be double rates, so that 5% becomes a 10% when it comes to getting SSRs. Also note that the next units will be the dual Dokkan Fest for New Year's. Regardless, I would focus on saving your stones for 10th anniversary. I'm sure that's going to be more than worth your while. It's literally less than 2 months away. It's more like a little over a month and a half. Hey guys, post-production tenure normal here. So the data download dropped, and it looks like GOTENKS and Jiren will be on 2 separate banners, so it's all the more reason to not summon. Okay, thanks, bye. As always, thanks for watching. What do you think of the new unit? Personally, I think Majin Buu Saga has been getting a boatload of units this year. A lot of them are extremely impressive, including this GOTENKS. And it's finally nice that we will get the hardest fight of the year, the Goku Frieza fight, when Jiren drops on Global. Thank God, the way is over. We are finally synced. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Stay lovely out there.